Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 7 of Mom Boss Life. I am your host, Karina Groombridge, and this is actually the first one back for the new year. So, welcome everybody. Super excited to be here. So, today for a guest, I have on Yvonne Marcus, and I'm super excited to share her with you guys. She is a home system strategist, and if you don't know what that is, um, she can explain it better than I can, but basically, she helps fellow moms go and live with intention and really live life on their own terms. And I'm super excited to have her on today and for her to share her skills, her experience, her life in general. And now I'm going to check and see if she is joining us soon, I hope. All right. Hello.
Hello.
I see you.
I see you.
All right. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Can you hear me?
I don't hear an echo or anything. Do you?
I hear a
I
little
hear a little
interference
interference
and an echo on
and
my
an
end.
echo on my end.
I turned it on. They're not.
What if you don't use
What if you
those?
don't use those?
Okay, try without.
We can try without.
Okay.
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 Still not working. Oh no. Okay, and now you froze. It might be best to jump off and jump back on. Oh, no, I see you. I hear
We're
you.
good. We're good.
Yay! I don't know what magic you did, but it worked.
It's fine. It worked out.
All
Sorry, my assistant was trying to bring me his headphones. But I was like, these working now.
Nice, excellent. So, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's so good to be here.
Yes. So yes, as I was explaining to our audience, this is episode 7 of Mom Boss Life, and it is the first one back for 2019. So yay! So I would love to get to know you and share your story with our audience. So first off, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
So hi, I'm Yvonne Marcus, as obviously it says in the tag. But I am a home system strategist
Yes.
who lives in Asheville, North Carolina, with my husband and our 2 children. They are almost 4 and almost 2. I mean, literally almost. That happens in February, 11 days apart.
Nice. Mine are the same age, just about.
Yeah, so it's like February is crazy.
Yeah.
And we enjoy adventuring around Asheville because it's such a beautiful area with the mountains and all those things. We enjoy dance parties,
Yeah.
and we like to we do taekwondo together as a family.
Oh,
So
awesome.
that's pretty much all the fun and interesting things about me.
And we can wrap up in that took 2 minutes, right? We're good. Oh, amazing. So, can you tell us a little bit about more about your business? So you said home system strategist, which I have not heard before. So I would love for you to kind of dive deeper into that.
Yeah, I mean, home system strategist. What does that even mean? I mean, what do all of the titles that we all have like really mean in the whole giant scheme of things? But so what I do is I help people to set up a system to run their home in order to make it so that everyone in your family is empowered to be able to make decisions. So they're not saying, "Hey, mom," all the time. Like
Sounds very
legitimately.
exciting.
The mental and emotional load of mothering is so significant. And so what my goal is to help moms not have to carry that load all by themselves. to be able to spread it amongst all of the members in their family, and especially to be able to spread it amongst themselves and their partner, because I think that's a lot of times a significant boundary for many of us. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we don't even know how to express what we need help with.
Awesome.
And so that is a huge thing. It's just being able to like explain and set up systems that work for everyone.
All right. I love that. I know for me, that was something that was huge when starting my business because there was no more time. Like we were using all our time to just, make it through and get by. So that whole mental load, I completely understand where you're coming from. And I'm sure it's something that a lot of other moms are shaking their head going, yep, I could use help with
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. And it is a huge thing because we're taught that we are supposed to be responsible for hashtag all the things.
Yeah.
And we are taught that consistently. And it is driven home with every television show or every commercial where mom does it all, or where dad is made fun of for being unable to dress somebody, dress any of your children or himself. I don't know how many commercials you've seen where the dad is like babysitting. They can't babysit, guys. And the kid is like hanging from a ceiling fan via their overalls sort of thing. And that doesn't have to be reality, but because it's constantly reinforced to us, that is the reality that we are creating. And also our parents sort of told us, hey, I did it all.
So why should you?
I don't know about you. And I don't know about you, but I remember being dropped off at my grandparents a lot.
Oh, yes.
My grandparents lived next door. It was easy. Like, hey, just go over to your grandparents for a few minutes.
Piece of cake.
And it's not as easy for most of us today to get that free childcare.
No kidding. So how did you get started in this?
I got started in this business because I got so tired of seeing like the stress and the overwhelm and the hashtag all the things and everybody feeling like a hot mess. And I was like, I did feel like that at one point in time, but as I set up my systems and my strategies and all of those things that make your household run more easily, it became obvious that I could help other people. And so I wanted to start a business to be able to help other people, but also get paid. Because quite frankly, we can't live on just helping people, even though we want to.
Yes.
And so I set up a business because it was important to me to be able to obviously get information out to people about how to get started and to be able to share with them as much as I could. But I knew that like sitting down with them physically or being able to do it for them, a lot of the setup and stuff like that would make their lives significantly easier, because the barrier to getting started and setting up new systems is oh my God, I have to set up something new.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's going to be another thing on your to-do list, another bit of overwhelming information. It's going to be stressful to change systems, or you're going to have to convince people in your family to use new software, or you're going to have to ask them to use a new piece of technology. My favorite piece of technology I got last year was the robot vacuum. That was life-changing.
Oh, that sounds exciting. I would love one of those.
And Alexa can control her, y'all.
Oh, okay. Because you're talking about home systems and setting that up. So I don't really feel like I do this. So can you explain kind of what home systems do you mean by that?
Okay, so for me, and a big part of why I set up this business was to teach this system that I use in my house. And the system is that you sit down every 2 weeks and you have a meeting with your family. Family meeting is not fun for anybody. Nobody wants to hear it called that. So you have to come up with whatever phrasing is going to make people want to come join.
Family dance party?
Yeah, yeah. For us, it really is called the family meeting because my husband works in software and I work in technology. And so that is a great way to be able to connect. And so how we do it is we have a meeting every 2 weeks where we put all of the problems, all of like, they're not really problems per se, but like all of the things that are causing stress or all of the things that just aren't working or new things that we've come up with. Like my son started Taekwondo last year, so that needs to go in the bucket to figure out the logistics of who was going to be when and where. And then you take the things that go into the bucket and you put them on a list and you prioritize them so that you can know what needs to be done first, second, next. And then you keep track of them as to like what's in progress and what's not started, what's in progress, and what's completed, because it is a 3-step process. And then you just keep tracking them and keep coming. So the solutions are set by the problem. So like dinner time used to be a really significant problem for me. I was trying to prep and cook dinner, a thing that I felt like I was supposed to do because I'm a mom. We're constantly reinforced, especially on places like Pinterest and things like that, that you have to be providing not just healthy meals, but pretty meals. And like all these cooking shows are popular right now. Yeah. And like, why is your kid's sandwich not cut into dinosaur shapes every day when they go to school?
Yes. I'm so happy I am not in that bandwagon. I don't care.
I know, right? But so, you know, it's constantly reinforced. So you start to feel guilty about the fact that you're not able to do it. Or I was just having a meltdown every time I was trying to do it. And the reason is because every time that I would be coming down to my kitchen to try and cook dinner, my daughter, who was breastfeeding at the time, would be hungry. And I don't know if you've tried, but breastfeeding and cutting vegetables, it doesn't work out very well.
Not so good.
And then I would be having a meltdown because dinner wasn't getting ready and it wasn't getting on the table. And then I would just want to like go and order out. So we waited until I was calmer and not in the middle of a meltdown, because it's never a great idea to talk about a problem when you're in the middle of like
very true
that sort of environment. And we started to think about what some solutions would be. So at the 2-week meeting, you would sit down with that being the problem. And then, and you would sort of it out like, I am a mom. I need to prep healthy. I need my kids to eat healthy meals. And therefore, so that I can feel good about like what they're eating. And that's how we storyboard it out. I need, so that this can happen. And the reason is because that doesn't sound accusatory. It's not blaming anyone in your family for anything. It's not blaming yourself.
Nice.
It is now creating just a story. And that story then can be used to help you create a solution to that problem. And everybody can come up with different solutions and bring those to the table. And then, so the solution we originally came up with is that my husband would cook dinner. Seems easy enough, right? I didn't like that solution. Not because he's a wonderful cook. He really is. But
not the point.
Thing for me, the thing for me is that I love being in the kitchen and I love doing those things. So if that's something that I love doing and something I want to do, then we have to create now a way that I can do it, but we can share it. So what we decided at that point was that I would do all of the prep work during nap time. And then he would come down and cook it at dinner time. Like he would get off from work, he would come home, he would cook it. Or if I could get it started, he would come in and start where I had to leave off, and he would finish it. But because we were working from a recipe, that made it incredibly easy. Eventually, we ended up using a recipe, a meal planning service, one that like you go in and you just get the recipes and then you cook it. That meal planning service is PlateJoy. It is also connected with Instacart. So literally when I set the menu, I could just send Instacart to go buy our groceries.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I don't
that.
Because I enjoy taking the kids grocery shopping, because my kids are, and a lot of kids are more likely to try new foods if they've seen them, played with them, touched them, experienced them out in the world. So we usually just take the whole family grocery shopping.
Oh,
I know that's stressful for some.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. So, let's see. So I'm curious to know, uh, in starting and growing your business, has there ever been a point where you just felt like giving up, throwing in the towel, and saying, like, this is too much?
Haven't we all? I think that's true. But mostly, there comes a point in your business where you're just, it's usually like you're getting started and you're trying to figure out what your audience really wants and
Mm.
what they need. And you're trying, like, you're just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and none of it's sticking. And you're like, do I really need to be in this business? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Or am I supposed to be doing something different? Or should I just give up altogether? So there have been moments like that. And I think that there will be moments like that for everyone. I think even after you get to be like successful, there can still be those moments where you feel like, am I the right person to be giving this information? Does this thing really light me up anymore? Sort of
That's
questions.
always
And
a
you
good
just kind of
question.
have to, yeah, and you just kind of have to like take some time away from it and then think about it and work through that process and come back to it, which is what I've done time and time again. I've just sort of opened myself up and been like, hey, universe, just let me know if I'm supposed to still be doing this. Just like send me some sort of like indication that it is the right path. And always I've just been kind of led back to doing this because it seems so important to me that that not only we stop being responsible for hashtag all the things, but that we help to create a society of women who don't think that they have to do hashtag all the things.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely love that because I feel like all the moms that I talk to, especially new moms, have this like overbearing feeling of like, well, my house isn't that clean. I'm not cooking dinner. It's not
Yeah.
perfect. Da, 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 da. And yeah, oh my God. So I feel like I need to
Or
introduce you to a lot of people.
or like the anxiety of I have a new kid, like there's toys everywhere, my house isn't clean, I need to just get rid of all this stuff. And then like trying to clean out your house while your kids are like hanging on your legs, like it's just not, like there's a lot of times where it's not feasible, but that you have to do things little by little. But my biggest approach is just to like take it 2 weeks at a time.
Mm.
And have so I usually set 90-day goals because that's sort of a season. And
Good point.
technology moves really fast these days. And I incorporate technology in my mom life a lot because if I can make it easier, why not?
I love that. And I guess, well, clearly you have the patience to go and sit there and figure it out, right? Because like all of this technology is amazing, but I'm sure a lot of people come to that barrier of like, but how do I do it? Like you mentioned at the beginning, like
Yeah.
it's scary when you don't know. And if you've got people sitting there saying, oh, well, I figured it out. It's okay. Then it's like, oh, all right, sure, gradually step into it. So I guess that's where you come in to be like, here, let me pull you.
Yeah. Yeah, for a short period of time in my business, I literally just went in and like set up people's Alexa skills.
Nice.
Because people don't know what she does. People know that like she'll play music.
Yeah.
People know that she'll set timers and that sort of thing. But people don't really know that like you could literally like order your Starbucks from her.
That's really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, and she's now going to be becoming like incorporated into cars. Like I forget which car company it is, but like it's going to be incorporated into that car so you can just talk to Alexa.
Wow,
whenever.
That's so cool. I love that.
I know, right? Although I'll be honest, I wanted a Google Home after I saw the Home Alone Again commercial from Google.
Nice.
My husband was like, no.
You get one tech in that, in that realm. Nice. Okay, so what skill would you say has helped you the most in keeping up with your business? I feel like organization is really high up there on your list.
Yeah, it's huge. But I would say that the drop-in skill is the skill that has been the most life-changing.
Wait, sorry, what do you mean?
And
You said drop in?
yeah, so if you have more than one Alexa,
Okay.
you can drop in. So like I can drop in from the app on my phone to an Alexa at my house. I
Okay.
can drop in from the Alexa in my kitchen to the one in my son's room, to just let him know that dinner's ready, which is fabulous.
Nice.
I'll say, hey, Alexa, drop into the office if I need to ask my husband a question. My husband does work from home, but all of my systems work even if your husband doesn't work from home.
Cool.
I've tried them out with people who have husband who works outside of the house. But yeah, so I can like drop up there and I can ask him, hey, did you do this thing? And then he can say yes, no, or whatever. And then we're literally not bugging each other or really taking each other out of what we're doing. It's just a quick like drop in, ask a question, drop in, tell my son dinner's ready, and then he comes down and we eat.
Cool. Okay, and
And it's been phenomenal.
how about like personal traits? So as far as personal traits go, like what do you feel has helped you the most to grow your business?
Oh, yes. As far as my personal traits, I think it's drive. Drive is huge.
Yes.
The ability to just like not want to give up is always a big deal because it helps you to innovate and come up with new things and keep tweaking until you get to the point of where you have a thing that people actually want to buy.
Yeah.
And relationship building is the other like huge thing. Like to go into Facebook groups and to talk to other people who either can help you or who are in your same niche or who are willing to, just kind of chat with you about how they run their business and or finding mentors or those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Like hiring. I mean, I hire people from Facebook groups all the time because that's where you're going to find the people that you're going to speak to and that speak, you speak to them and they speak to you. And so building those relationships has been a great way to like spread my message and their message. And the more you help people, and I always want to help people, the more they're willing to help you.
It's so true. So true. And I love that. The drive that you mentioned is something, it's a pattern that I'm seeing among like all of the mompreneurs that I've had on this show so far. So I love it. It's good encouragement for those like, out there.
Entrepreneur life is not for the weak at heart. Like you have to be willing to just like push.
Yes. It's not for the lazy. You're allowed to be lazy sometimes, but not all the time. Awesome. So for anybody who is watching, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you've got any questions, comments. If we don't get to it live, then we will always circle back around and answer any comments or questions that you may have. So I'm just wondering, like you're talking a lot about integrating the house with like all of your tech with your family, and that's really meshing in your family and work life, I think. So I'm just curious, how do you draw the line between work and family time?
So basically, in the morning when we get up, we have a very slow like wake up time. I get my children up an hour before we have to leave to go anywhere, mostly because, let me tell you, toddlers do not have a rush button. They don't. If you are in a rush, they will find a way to make you slow down.
Yep.
So
we do an hour and a half before we have to get out of the house. And even that's like, it's tight.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be pushing it.
Yeah.
So I get them up an hour before we need to leave. I get them started with their breakfast. My husband makes our coffee. We sit and enjoy our coffee and we can have it hot because we all have time to like chill out. Also, I use a Yeti mug. So just in case it takes a little bit longer, it's going to stay warm. So then they get to watch something on the TV while we look at the calendar, which our calendar is on a television screen in our living room.
Oh, cool.
It's our family command center. We do that through dakboard.com, which is DAK board, BOARD.com. And so we set that up and then we just use an old screen that we had around the house that we were no longer using as a TV, and it shows up on that screen. The only requirement is that the screen works, and and you get a Raspberry Pi. You can order that from DAC or you can buy your own and set it up.
Okay.
Which is just a little mini computer. But when you buy the one from DAC it comes pre-set up. You don't have to do anything. And and so we use that in order to like look at our day and see who needs to do what when. And then we take the kids to school 3 days a week. On the 2 days a week that they don't go to school, one day we just end up like we go up to the playroom or we go outside. We have activities. Usually my husband will work during those hours. And then I'll do my work either at nap time or in the evening. But so what happens is, you know, we start our day slow. Then we either take them to school and we go to Taekwondo, or we take them to school and they do an activity, or we don't take them to school and they do an activity around the house. Then around 11:30, 12 o'clock, we do lunch. Then the kids do 30 minutes of quiet time, which is usually when I can then do my work. My daughter will then go to sleep because she's still young enough that she's taking a nap. If my son does his 30 minutes of quiet time, then he gets to come and have like 30 minutes of tablet time. So that still gives me that hour to like focus on work and get that stuff done. And then after that hour, and so that's on a non-school day. On a school day, I'm just working the whole day. And then after that, after my daughter gets up, we will then do an afternoon activity and then have dinner around 4:30, 5 o'clock. On school days, I leave my desk at about 3:30 to go and pick them up at 4 o'clock. And then we come home and have dinner between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. And then we do activities together as a family in the evening after dinner. At the dinner table, we discuss what was a good thing that happened to us today and what was a hard thing that happened to us today.
Oh, I like that.
And how we dealt with that hard thing. And then, so that makes it a great time for us to like chat and check in with each other and see how everybody's day is going. Also, it's a better question than, what'd you do at school today?
Yeah.
Because kids always answer that with nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I should remember that one for mealtime.
Yeah, and it's a nice time to do it because everybody is together most of the time. If we don't do it then we do it at bedtime. Just because like some days, like somebody might have an activity that they have to be at dinner time. Then we do baths. Then we read stories. Then we do calm down time and bed. And then my husband and I usually have an hour or so that we can spend together and we watch TV or, or do something else that would make us happy, like build Legos or do puzzles or whatever it is that we want to do that night.
Play with the kid toys.
And then, yeah. And then we get ready and have our bedtime routine and get ready and go to bed. And then we get up the next morning and start again.
Nice. I love that little glimpse into your world. I feel like that'll really educate some people on like good ideas.
The routine is nice.
No kidding. Amazing. There was a question that popped up for me. So you're obviously big on the tech and I'm in Canada. So I know a lot of, or at least some of my listeners are in Canada, and I'm just curious to know all the systems that you're talking about. Do you know if they're also in other countries? Like if someone from Canada or somewhere else in the world were to hire you, I'm just not sure like how would that work?
I believe that everything that I talk about would also be available there. I mean, Amazon is everywhere.
Yes.
But I think the other services like DACboard.com is just, it comes from a website. So and I'm fairly certain that they ship internationally as far as the Raspberry Pis are concerned. Everything else is stuff you already own. And then, Trello is a system that I use, and that's just an internet software.
Okay.
So there's nothing that I can think of that is specific to this country. But I believe, obviously, if there was something that was only available here, that we could find an alternative that would work for international users.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I'm curious to know, in your routine, where do you add in, or do you add in time for yourself? Like, how do you take care of yourself?
Yes. So I have, I like to talk about my self-care basket.
Oh.
So I I have three different types of self-care baskets. One is my clothes basket, which I lay out my loungewear, my pajamas, the clothes I'm going to wear for the day, uh, and any like workout clothes I might need in this basket. And it sits in my closet, and then I just pull from it daily at the different times of the day that I'm going to need the different things. Then I have my self-care basket in my room that just has all the stuff that I might enjoy doing for self-care. So like my crochet hooks and yarn, an adult coloring book, crossword puzzle. I was trying to think of like what else in it, because like it gets pretty extensive. Like if you start putting all of the things that you're going to use. And the reason I do that is because it just makes it easy to pull from when you have 5 minutes. And then I have one in my bathroom. So when you have a longer amount of time and you want to have that nice, relaxing bath, which we all know doesn't happen that often for us. But when you can have that time, you have that stuff also ready to go. So, you know, it'll have like a bath bomb or some essential oils, face mask, like those sorts of things will be in my bathroom basket, because that's where those things get put on or used. So I try and just keep everything where it will be used, because there's no way that you're going to spend 5 minutes doing self-care other than like scrolling through Instagram if you don't have the stuff already prepared.
Valid point. I like that.
And there's definitely no way you're going to chase it down all over your house.
You have to be very motivated to do that.
Yeah. So if you want to take a bath, like having that stuff in a basket in your bathroom makes the most sense. Having things that you would like, a book that you want to read next to your bed where you're going to read it, or in a reading nook if you don't read in bed, you want to read like in a comfy chair. Having it where you're going to use it makes it much more likely for you to actually do it.
Yes.
And I try and set that time in. So like I have it, I have an app called Streaks that I think was $5 in the iTunes store that I use to track. And so like one of my streaks is that I will read for 15 minutes twice a day. And I like external accountability. So I use the app, and then I'll fill in the circle when I've done it. And then it'll tell me like how many days in a row I've done that thing. And then the longer I can get the days in a row going, the better. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't break that streak.
Nice.
I just can't. I can't not do it. I had to put flossing my teeth on there because like nobody wants to do it.
Really? I like flossing my teeth. I'm like
but if
the
I
only
can
one in my
motivate
house.
myself, the kids never know. They're like, they don't even like brushing them. But yeah, so getting motivated, however it is that you get motivated.
All right, I like that, and I like the easy access. It's an excellent idea.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. Like we did that with the house keys, or like the keys to the car.
Yes.
Because how many times do you lose them?
Yeah,
But now
I have a bucket
magnets.
for that.
We have little circular magnets that apply to the wall, and we magnetize them to the wall, and then we go out, and they're on the way to the garage, and my purse hangs on a hook on the way out to the garage. So everything is in a flow that is the direction I will be walking.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you may have a heart attack if you came to my house. It's like complete chaos, but I'm okay with that right now.
Yeah, I mean it's totally, a lot of this is individual to each person, and a lot of it will change as your seasons change.
Very true. And as the children grow, I imagine.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm curious to know, in your business, do you have anything going on right now? Any special offers or anything that you can share with our audience?
Yes. So the first thing I want to let you know is that I am going to be hosting a 3-day challenge called the hashtag Reclaim Your Time 2019 challenge. And you can join that free Facebook group, and then you will be put into the email system for that. And that's just a freebie. And we'll go over like how you can use your time to achieve your goals, including, just figuring out where your time is going. because
That's very true.
that's a huge thing. Like, how much time are you really, because like you might find if you look at your time that you're actually achieving a lot of the things that you want to achieve, but you didn't know it because you hadn't looked at it. And so that's what we really want to do as we are all in goal setting mode. And that challenge is going to start next Monday. So there's the Facebook group for that. The next thing that I have is I had a birthday special for a 1-hour intensive phone call with me at 37% off. So that makes it $125. And I'm extending that for this group because I want to make sure that if anybody wants to chat with me, that they can get the ability to do so.
Amazing. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so where can we find you on social media?
Mostly you will see me specifically hanging out on Instagram.com, which is Instagram.com/TheYvonneMarcus. I have a Facebook page. I don't hang out there as much, so you might see some posts going up, but if you want to like DM me or something like that, the best place to do that is on Instagram because I will be guaranteed to see it every day.
Yes. It's hard to tell who uses what like most. I know some people have preferences. So, all right. Good to know. Good to know. And I'm just curious. So if somebody else were starting off and wanting to learn from you to figure out what you're up to, is there any advice you would have for them?
Advice from getting to know like home systems or advice for getting into business? Sorry, I was a little.
Sorry, my bad. Advice for, actually, no. I guess a better question would be what would be good advice that you would like to share for any of the people watching that are like, okay, I'm interested, and like, do you have like a top 3 or a top 5 or something? Tips.
The number one thing that I recommend to everyone is to use systems that you're already using. So like, let's say the calendar, for instance. There is an iCal link that has nothing to do with Apple. It's just what they're called. The iCal link in every one of the calendar systems. So in my case, my husband likes to use Outlook. I like to use Google. So he gave me his iCal link and I gave him my iCal link. So now his calendar populates on mine and my calendar populates on his. And this is the number one thing that all of my clients tell me is life-changing. And the reason being is because you no longer have to ask 50,000 times a day, what are you doing at this time? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Now you have access to each other's calendar all the time and you can see it. And to be honest, everyone has a calendar and everyone has a phone that they're carrying with them all the time. And so it's the lowest gateway to entry. And I always recommend that, especially if you have a spouse who isn't completely sure that they're on board. Don't try and add new technology to them. Don't try and add a new system. Try using the systems you already have in place. So like one of the things that we did at the very beginning when we set up the calendar was we put laundry day. So like adult laundry happens on Monday, kid laundry happens on Wednesday. And it happens that way so that, one, I'm not doing laundry every day of the week because I don't want to. I have no desire for that to be my life. And also because now the kids know, like if their favorite shirt is dirty,
they know they'll get it.
They might ask me when it's coming back and I'll say, oh, you know what? 2 more sleeps and you'll have your shirt. Arguments ended quickly because it wasn't expected that I was going to be doing laundry every night.
Oh, excellent. I like that. And I totally agree with these systems that you already have and just like leverage those. Because again, tech can be scary for a lot of people, myself included.
Yeah. And if you have a reluctant spouse, like it's not going to do you any good because the system is going to fail because you're not implementing in a way that's going to show them that there are results. If you start just trying to get them to use something new or different and then they don't use it, because then now they're like, well, why did we even sign up for that thing?
Oh, so true.
I know.
So true. All right. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne. I'm just curious, is there anything else you'd like to share? We're just
Oh
about
my goodness.
good and just about ready to wrap up, but if there's any last words.
No, I think everybody should be, really excited going into 2019 with your new goals, and I hope that they'll come and join me and chat, so that we can help them to get into this new year in the best way possible, so that they're not the person to be the answerer for everything.
Yes, exactly. Start taking stuff off your plate. You'll feel so much
Exactly,
better.
because it's huge.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your offer, sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it. And for anybody else who's watching, we will be back next week for episode 8 of Mom Boss Life. So thank you, Yvonne. It was a pleasure getting to know you, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Thanks so much for having me. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.